Let's be honest, you and I both know that I have zero impulse control. Welcome and welcome back, everybody. Tia here. I recently had a friend ask me what games I was hoping to get for the holidays this year, and I had to pause for a second because my thought was, what do you mean hoping to get? You mean the games that I just purchased for myself? But then I realized that this may not be the most orthodox method of board game collection over the holidays. So today I've put together a little board game holiday wish list of games that I'm hoping I might get. Before we get started, please let me know in the comments down below what games you are looking forward to getting these holidays, whether you're celebrating a specific holiday or just need a little pick-me-up as we round out 2022. I am excited to get excited about the games you are excited about, so slap those bad boys down there. Without further ado though, let's get started. Game number 7 on my list is one of the newest Button Shy game titles, and that is Fruition. This is a scrumptious looking little card game where you are going to be shouting out words that match a particular category. So the judge will pair together a letter with a clue using the beautifully illustrated fruit on the cards, and players will have however much time to start yelling out any answers that come to mind. Once the judge thinks there are no more answers left to give, they'll start a timer for 5 seconds. And if somebody gives another qualifying answer during that time, they'll add another 5 seconds until nobody can think of any further words that fulfill the criteria. Whoever's the last person to shout something out will get the card as a point. This just seems like a really delightful little activity / party game that you can bring around with you anywhere. It sounds like it would be fun to play with a whole variety of people. I'm a big fan of real-time games. I'm a big fan of word association. So I just think this will be a really excellent one to just slap into your bag for the end of a game night and see where it goes. So that is Fruition from Button Shy Games. The next game on my list is actually a standalone expansion for a game that I already own and adore quite a bit. This is Bullet Star from Level 99 Games. So if you're not familiar with the original Bullet Heart game in the series, this is a real-time puzzle action shoot 'em up game. Each person will have a unique character with a character board. You'll be drawing these bullets out of a bag that have a color and number, which tell you how far down and in which column to place onto your board. You'll then use actions and unique abilities from your character in order to eliminate the bullets in different pattern sequences. But if they get down to the bottom of your board, you take a hit. So many hits and you're out. I really love that this game has a lot of flexibility. It has a solo mode, it has a cooperative mode, it has a head-to-head mode, so there's a lot of things you can do with it. And one of the things that I really love in real-time games is when you have a really nice pacing of having like a 2 to 3 minute frantic real-time session, and then time to pause and break down what happened, to reset and kind of reconfigure before you go into a next panicked frenzy. I think this game does a really great job of simulating a kind of arcade style vibe. I'm not personally a huge fan of anime or manga, but the art in this series has really grown on me. I just think the palette is so beautiful that they've used. It is so well executed, both in the art style and in the game. So looking forward to hopefully getting this year the standalone expansion for Bullet Heart, which is Bullet Star. And speaking of standalone expansions, we have a set of expansions / standalone games from Horrible Guild called Similo. As I said previously, I mean, it's hard to go wrong when you have a game you love and you just want more of it. And that's exactly what we have here with Similo. In this game, you will have a grid of cards, preferably of one particular deck, for example, Wild Animals. You'll then have the clue giver with a hand of cards from a different deck, maybe Fairy Tales, for example. They will then look at the grid and give a clue using the opposite deck, either that the card in hand has something similar to the target card that your group is trying to guess, or something different. There's a lot to look at here. The characters themselves, their orientation, different accessories, the backgrounds, colors. It's really cool to see what people focus in on. And this is a game I've had a lot of fun playing. You can play it with just about anybody, kids, adults, gamers, non-gamers. I already have the Spookies deck, the Myths deck, and the Fairy Tales deck, as well as the super special SN 2022 promo deck that features board games on every card. Very cool. And I'm really looking forward to getting the last 3 sets, which are Animals, Wild Animals, and history. I know there's also a Harry Potter deck technically, but that one's not quite for me. So I'm really looking forward to fleshing out my Similo decks. I've played this a lot, so seeing some fresh new cards and card combinations is something that I'm really looking forward to. This, by the way, is also a great stocking stuffer because you have the variety of decks, you can choose what you like, and it's very affordable as far as board games go. So very much looking forward to hopefully getting my new 3 Similo decks. I promise this is the last set of expansions on this list, but again, how can you go wrong? So I'm really looking forward to these 2 expansions for the Quest for El Dorado. So first up, we have Heroes and Hexes, which was released with the original Ravensburger edition. If you're not familiar with the base game, Quest for El Dorado is a Reiner Knizia design where you are building a deck of cards that will help you race throughout terrain to get to the Temple of El Dorado. I'm not a huge fan of racing games, but combine it with deck building, and this is like one of my go-to anytime someone wants to play a racing game. Heroes and Hexes really seems like it'll freshen this up. So we have 2 different modules that you can add in. The heroes actually give each player a unique familiar that will have a recurring ability as well as a one-shot, more powerful ability that you can use throughout the game. The hexes look really interesting because typically to move through a type of terrain, you have to discard cards worth that value or more. With the hexes, though, you can move through that terrain for free, but you will pick up these hexes, which will impact you negatively. So there's a little bit of like a push your luck kind of element with which hexes you'll get and whether you want to spend the actual value or take the shortcut. It looks really interesting, and I think it'll really amp up the decisions for the different routes and maps that you can build throughout the game. I'm also looking forward to the brand new expansion that just came out this year called Dangers and Muisca. This expansion, like Heroes and Hexes, has 2 different modules that you can use to vary up gameplay. Dangers adds different obstacles that you'll have to combat with on terrain, like for example, alligators. And the Muisca expansion adds something that I think is desperately needed in the base game, which is more cards. I mean, with the deck builder, I feel like, of course, the base game is very minimal and simplistic with the cards that you can use. So I'm really looking forward to this fresh new pack of tribes people who can help you throughout your journey. And overall, with both expansions, I am just so excited and also so grateful to have access to the international version with vintage trade art. Oh my god, so beautiful. I'm really looking forward to trying out both of these expansions as I haven't gotten to play either of them yet, even with the old Ravensburger edition. So these are a long anticipated and also newly anticipated addition to a game that I already have in my collection, The Quest for El Dorado. My next items on this list are not expansions, but there are 2 of them. I grouped them together because they're so cute and so similar in publisher and theme. The first game is Papageno from Helvetique. Is that how you pronounce it? This is just a small set collection card game based off of Papageno, the character from the Mozart opera, The Magic Flute. So this combination of music and board gaming, like, I had to go for it, right? And I recently found it on sale for Black Friday for super cheap. I just pulled the trigger immediately. And I do love little card games. I do love set collection. And I'm really looking forward to trying this out on the Helvetica game that I already have that I enjoy is Kariba, where you play like higher lower animals. And it seems like this follows in a similar suit. So I'm looking forward to trying it out as well. And paired with that, we have Tucano, which is another game from Helvetique, and it features vibrant cards with some bird-themed art. Tucano is another set collection game, but in this case, you'll be collecting different piles of fruit. Each type of fruit has a different method of scoring, and you'll be sending out piles that will be uneven. Some will be shorter, some will be larger. As people take piles, it will refill with 1 card, but the other piles that people don't take from just get larger and larger. There are also a couple of bird cards that vary it up, as well as the Rainbow Joker that let you interact with other players or do things out of the norm of just taking your cards and assigning them to their sets. This is a quick, fun little card game. I got to play it on Board Game Arena, and I'm really looking forward to playing it more in person with the actual physical cards. So we have Papageno and Tucano. Okay, so Technically not an expansion, but following the theme of twos and following the theme of based on a game that I own and I already love, our next game on this list is Splendor Duel. I really love Splendor. I think it's such a clean design. It's quick and to the point. It's just basic set collection with a little engine building, but I still love it after all these years. I'm really looking forward to trying Splendor Duel, which is a 2-player version that uses some similar mechanics, but with a little twists. It seems that the main difference in Splendor Duel is that instead of just taking the chips, you actually are drafting them off of a board where you have to follow a grid. And you can reset the board, which gives you a benefit because obviously that also benefits the other player as well. So this looks like a really fresh take on Splendor. I really love the art in Splendor Duel. The cards are very vibrant in Splendor, but I'm not particularly looking at the background art on those. With these, I find myself looking over and over again at the ornate jewelry and the different characters. So I think it'll be a really fun one to try out. And again, the nostalgia of just playing Splendor earlier in my board game career. I mean, it's a game that still I've played regularly this year even. So the dual version is definitely very welcome and something that I'm really, really looking forward to trying, as I've already said probably like 5 or 6 times. I'm just excited. Sorry. Last up on this list, we have, maybe one of like my most anticipated and excited for games this year. And that is Cat in a Box, which has just been picked up and released as a deluxe version by Bazaar Games. And just in time too, because let me tell you, I first heard about this game in its original non-deluxe Japanese printing. The original version only supports play for 3 to 4 players. It was also going to be really expensive to ship it over here from Japan, which is why I didn't pull the trigger on it despite being intrigued beyond belief. Luckily, right before I ended up taking the dive, Bazaar announced this deluxe version, which can play from 2 to 5 players and is available in the US. Yay! I love me some out there trick-taking games, and let me tell you, Cat in a Box is like one of the coolest ones I've gotten to try. The whole premise is kind of based off of Schrodinger's cat, where like, is the cat there? Not until you look at it. Does it exist? Blah, blah, blah. So each card just has a number. No cards have a suit until you play them. So you can either choose to follow suit. For example, if somebody plays a green card, you would typically in a trick-taking game have to play a green card unless you have no others. So you could choose to follow that and say, okay, I have a green card of this other value. The little board that you see there marks which card you play. So you can say, all right, I have a 9. This is going to be a green 9. And you put your token on the green 9 because nobody else can have a green 9. The next person might say, okay, I have a 5. This is going to be a green 5. And they block off the green 5. Now, let's say the third person only had a 9, only had a 5. Obviously, it can't be green, so they have to choose a different color, which means they have no more green cards in their hand. So the cards like transform as you play the game. It's so freaking cool. I love it. And the way that it's tracked on the board is not just a function of keeping track, but it also plays into how you score at the end of the round, because you get points for the tricks that you win, but you also get points for your configuration of tokens on the board. Really freaking cool. Probably not a game you want to play with someone who's never played a trick-taking game or isn't familiar with that mechanic, but if you are a fan of trick-taking or you know people that are, like, yes. So I've already gotten to play this game. I'm just waiting for my pre-order copy to ship, and it's estimated for December 2022. I'm really hoping it gets in just before Christmas. It would be the best Christmas surprise. But that is my number 1 holiday game I'm looking forward to, Cat in the Box Deluxe. So there you have it. There are 7 holiday games that I am really looking forward to this winter. And again, as I said, maybe my method of purchasing the games for myself is a little unorthodox, but like, let's be honest, you and I both know that I have 0 impulse control. So there you have it. Please let me know what games you are looking forward to receiving and or hoping to get, or if they're just games that you're hoping to try sometime soon, leave those down below as well. I always love hearing about new games. I always love sharing what games we're excited with. Like, it's a back and forth, you know? I share some games with you, you share some games with me, everybody's happy. So if you enjoyed this video and it gave you any amount of joy, please feel free to leave a like. You can also subscribe down below for more board game content. It really helps out the channel. It's a small thing you can do and it's free. I already got myself all my games. Consider that your holiday gift to me, just a like and a subscribe. Thank you as always for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Okay, stop. Do you guys see these? These are so freaking cute. Little marshmallows. When he hops, he actually changes the different settings. So adorable. He's